Alright, welcome back to the show. This one we're going to be talking about breaking free and healing from childhood trauma caused by narcissistic people. This one is a very personal one to me, and I need to preface this by saying that my childhood trauma has absolutely nothing to do with my family or my upbringing. Well, when I say upbringing outside of the family as the core of my childhood trauma, and that's only really came to the surface in the last few months from experiences I've had with people from my past, and something that completely derailed me for the better part of 2 months at this point. You can see it in this channel. I haven't been as properly active and doing the things that I was doing. I was going great guns here for a while, but something happened a couple of months back. Normally when it comes to criticism, I'm pretty bulletproof whenever it comes to somebody just giving me a hard time online. It's just what it is. It's just part of the game. But having someone from your childhood just throwing a few comments on here and there at a very, very surface level completely took me out of the game for about, again, 2 months straight. So I went looking for some tips on how to free yourself from that childhood trauma caused by narcissistic people. So let's get into it. Alright, tip number one is to acknowledge your feelings. Recognize and validate your emotions related to your experiences. A good way of dealing with this is journaling. That can help you articulate and process these feelings. Number two is to educate yourself. Learn about narcissism and its effects on relationships. Understand the behaviour can help you detach from it emotionally. Number three, and one that I've really started to do in this last few months, is to set boundaries. Establish clear boundaries with narcissistic individuals in your life. Practice assertiveness and communication to protect your emotional space. Number four, one of the most important ones, is to seek professional help. Consider therapy with a professional experienced in trauma and narcissism. Support groups can also provide a space to share and heal. Number five is to focus on self-care. Engage in activities that nurture your physical and mental well-being. Prioritise your sleep, your nutrition and exercise, and hobbies that you enjoy. Six is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and recognise that healing does indeed take time. Challenge your negative self-talk and replace it with affirmations. 7 is to develop healthy relationships. Surround yourself with supportive and empathetic individuals. Seek friendships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. 8 is to limit contact. If possible, reduce or cut off contact with narcissistic people in your life. Create emotional distance to aid in your healing process. Number 9 is to explore new interests. Engage in new hobbies or activities that foster personal growth. This can help you rebuild your identity outside of your past experiences. 10 is to reflect and release. Consider writing a letter to express your feelings, even if you don't send it. Engage in mindfulness or meditation to help release your negative emotions. 11 is to recognize patterns. Identify and understand patterns in your relationships that reflect your past trauma. Work on breaking these patterns to foster healthier connections. 12 is to set clear goals for the future. Create personal goals related to your healing journey. Celebrate small victories and progress along the way. Number 13 is to engage in creative expression. Use art, music or writing as a form of therapy to express your experiences. Creative outlets can be a powerful tool for your healing. 14 is to practice forgiveness, if ready. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning their behaviour. It's all about freeing yourself. Take your time with this process and only pursue it when you feel like you're ready for it. 15 is to stay mindful of triggers. Be aware of situations or people that trigger memories of your past. Develop coping strategies to manage these triggers effectively. Alright, hopefully this has been helpful for someone out there, and there's loads of different childhood traumas. Mine is based solely on my upbringing outside of my family. I grew up in a home where I had Christian parents and Christian brothers and a family that I can depend on, like my immediate family. cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff, and a lot of good people in my life that you could just, if you needed something at the end of the day, you could, lift your phone, call someone up, and they would have no problem whatsoever in helping you out with anything. But when it came to my upbringing, it was outside of the family where the damage was done, and that only became apparent in the last 2 months or so. The people that were in charge of my religious education, let's just say, as a child, and I actually, I believed in it fully whenever I was a kid. Like, I actually gave my life to God whenever I was like 7 years old. So grew up on it, fully believed in it, and for a couple of years it was all good. And then the same people that were bringing me into that life were the same people that weren't living that life. And it's like they were going into church on a Sunday. There were people taking, Sunday school classes and whatnot. They were teaching you to love your neighbour and all that sort of stuff. And then every other day of the week they were just complete asses. And my first introduction to the brutality of just bigotry in Northern Ireland was actually these same people that were, preaching love and respect for the people around them. It was just, growing up in the 80s in Northern Ireland, and the tail end of the Troubles, let's just say, was a nasty time. It was like people just didn't get on with other people because of their backgrounds and whatnot, and it just never made any sense to me. And that's the sort of thing that just kind of broke me as a child, and it didn't just come to the surface until the last couple of months, whenever someone from the past actually just dropped, like, as I say, like, whenever it comes to criticism online, I can take just about anything people throw at me, because it's just it is what it is. It's part of the game. If you're going to put yourself out there as a content creator, you have to expect to get a bit of abuse along the way, and I'm all good with that. But a judgment was made on me a couple of months back over something absolutely ridiculous by a person from my past, someone I highly respect, and that just completely derailed me, because it brought up that childhood trauma that up until a couple of months ago I wasn't even aware was still something that was holding me back on a lot of things in life. Like, for me, relationships with people haven't been easy. I'm not the sort of person that can go out there and make friends easily. I never really understood why. At this point in my life, at 45 years old, a divorcee, got married. The relationship didn't work out. I'm not even going to go into the details of what happened there, but looking back on it now with fresh eyes and what's happened in the last while, and just everything's been brought to the surface through what's happened over the last couple of months, has just showed me exactly where my damage is at and how that's affected relationships and my adult life. So a lot of stuff I have to deal with right now, and a lot of tips there is really going to help me. I hope it's going to help people out there also. But I do know there's going to be someone watching this video or listening to it in the podcast that's going to be saying, you know what, when it comes to childhood trauma, that's nothing major. I've been through a heck of a lot worse than you. And I'm not trying to take away from anybody else's experiences. I completely understand there's a lot of other things that happen in childhood that's like miles worse than what I've been through, but I can only speak from my own experience here. And yeah, for me, it's been, when it comes to building relationships with people, it's been debilitating. And one of the things that's really became apparent over the last couple of months, and the way that I've been dealing with people over the last 10 years or so, like, I actually gave church and religion another chance about 20 years ago. I was part of a church family where exactly the same thing happened again. I never really understood why it hurt so bad the second time, but the realization of the last couple of months, just, really hitting me hard with, this is something that happened in your childhood here that's affected that relationship with your ex-wife, friends and whatnot outside of your family, and that second church family has just been it's been very eye-opening, and it's actually got to the point now where if someone walks up to me in the street, or even if I see it online, someone gives their life to the Lord, and they start to preach and whatnot, my walls automatically go up whenever someone says, I believe. And it's something that is actually, pretty devastating to me. I'm not going to lie. This is one of these things that, whenever you hear someone as a believer and, they're sharing the good news, let's just say, that should be something that you should be like, okay, this is the sort of person that I can 100% trust and let into my life. But everything that's happened to me through that childhood trauma, through narcissistic people within the church, has just got me to the point now where whenever I hear that or see that, I automatically step back and say, okay, I need to protect myself from this person. And, these people may be the sort of people that I actually really need to be having in my life right now, or hanging out with. But through the experiences of a child that actually 100% believed and, just lived and breathed it for years, getting completely annihilated by the behaviour of narcissistic people whenever I was growing up, is really, really affecting me hard now at the age of 45 years old. That's insane. That's crazy. So that's where I'm at. That's the source of my childhood trauma. I'm trying my best to work through it as best I can here at the minute. And I've really just, in the last couple of months, I've stepped back from a heck of a lot of people. I've taken a few people off my social medias. Some of the profiles that I have, I've actually flat out blocked them. And even on the YouTube channel here, I've hidden them from the channel. So even if these people are in the comments now trying to defend themselves or make a case for themselves, I can't see it now, because I've just set it up that if they comment on the YouTube channel, they're screaming into the void at this point. I'm not even going to see the comment. So that's what I have to do now to get through it. It is what it is. It sucks, and I'm devastated that it's taken 45 years for me to get to the point of actually realizing where my damage is at. So now that I know where it's at, I can work on it properly moving forward. So here's to the healing process. Again, hopefully this has helped someone out there. So if you're still here at this point in the video, I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Share the video along to someone you think this might help. And if you're listening on the podcast, you're an absolute legend. So until the next episode, whatever you're doing, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all then.